Hello everyone. It has been such a long time since I've made a video and I'm really sorry. I remember when I first started on tea, I was so like determined to document like all of my transition, and the last update I made was like 1 week on tea, and I'm now currently almost 3 months on tea. But a lot has gone on in the past little while, so I just haven't really thought to make a video. It's kind of been on the back of my mind, but I guess it is due time. In terms of changes, I'll talk about that first. I don't know. I don't really notice these things. It's bizarre because I keep forgetting that I'm on hormones in a way. Like I just think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's a thing. I totally forgot. I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard to describe. It's like it's almost like it's too good to be true, but it's also I'm only almost 3 months on tea, so not a lot of stuff has happened yet. My voice has deepened a little bit, not by a significant amount. My voice has been cracking at least, so there's that much. I'm kind of in like that gender limbo phase, I guess. It's like I'm kind of no one really knows. And I hate putting it like that because it's like I know that there's not just two genders and there's non-binary people and stuff like that, but for, society as a whole being so close-minded towards that kind of thing, it's like when you're in the middle oh my god, this does not, I hate saying it like this because it's so not true, but just for like video purposes, this is how I'm going to word it. When you're kind of like in the middle ground and people can't really tell, like they'll like look at you, like I'll go into the women's bathroom and then I'll come out and then women are like kind of like looking at me, and then I'll go to the men's bathroom and then men are like looking at me. So it's kind of like yeah, I don't know. I've experienced the fear for the first time of using the bathroom in public. I remember I've always just used the women's bathroom because like whatever. And then I remember walking because I had to use the bathroom when I was in the mall, and I was walking towards the bathrooms, and then when I got into the hallway, I saw the signs and I was like looking at them, and I was like, for the first, like literally that was the first time that I was just like, I don't know which one I should be going into because I don't feel safe in either of them. Like I stick out enough, like I don't pass completely as male, by society standards. So I can't go into the men's bathroom, but then also like I don't look female completely either. So it was such a bizarre experience. And now I know the fear and how much it sucks ass when you have to hold it and like not like use the bathroom in public. I don't know. I have a really small bladder too, so I have to like pee like every 20 seconds. It's ridiculous. So I don't like going out in public mainly for this reason, unless I know that there's like a gender neutral bathroom. But yeah, that has been the big thing. There has been quite a lot of life changes, and I think that this is why I haven't focused very much on the fact that I'm like, my transition or whatever, because everything else has just been kind of like crazy. I don't even know where to start. I guess it all kind of started with what my relationship of almost 10 months ended, and like whatever, I'm not gonna get much into that, but it kind of led into a series of other events that made me have to get hospitalized in a mental health ward for about a week. They wanted to keep me for 21 days is the program that they were trying to submit me into. It's just like, I was like, no, I'm not staying here for 21 days. Like I need to go back to work, even though it was like, they wanted to make sure that I wasn't like a threat to myself. And they wanted to keep me under close evaluation, and I was seeing like psychologists every day, and I was seeing like a psychiatrist all the time, and like a doctor was following up with me. Like I was just seeing all of these people. So I guess that's why I was in the hospital, is because they keep you there just so that it's easier to keep track of you, since they're monitoring you so closely. So I was there for about a week, including the day that I went into the hospital. I was in emergency for about 2 days, and then I got transferred off to a different hospital, which is where I stayed. It was a bizarre experience, to say the least. I don't regret going. Well, it's not like it was really my choice to go or not, but it was pretty traumatizing at the time. I gotta say, I was just like, why? I don't want to be here. Like, I want to go home. Like, why the fuck can I just like go home, please? And like, I cried so much for the first like 3 days that I was in there. Like, I just was hid in my room. Like, I didn't talk to any of the other patients. It was like a kind of like a group thing. So there was a bunch of other young adults that were also in the same unit as me, and you know, there was like activities or something. Like, it was just trying to make it feel not like a hospital setting, but more of like a dorm kind of is how it felt. Like, that's the way it was laid out. So it didn't really feel real, I guess, but I didn't talk to anyone. I just stayed in my room the whole time. I was lucky enough to have my own room, thankfully. Yeah, and then they let me go early because I was complaining that I wasn't on paid medical leave, and I was like, I am not going to miss out on more than 1 week's worth of pay to be stuck here because I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. So they let me go. I have like a bazillion follow-up appointments with different, like, I have like some emotional regulation therapies, what I think it's called, and then a few other things. And I guess to explain that a little bit further, I have never really gotten a proper diagnosis for any of the mental health problems that I've been struggling with since I was very young. I would say 14 is when I first started feeling like kind of depressed. It was when I was getting bullied a lot in school, and that was kind of like when it just all started going downhill for me. It was conveniently around the same time that I was starting to question my gender identity. So I'd never really gotten a proper diagnosis from anyone because I was just kind of like, I didn't have a family doctor, and I was just kind of thrown around. The child psychiatrist that I was seeing at the time, because I was 14, would just put me on medication that he thought would help, even though it didn't, and didn't give me a diagnosis. Like, I just thought I was depressed. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I finally got a diagnosis for what I do have, and it's borderline personality disorder, which, and like reading the symptoms of it, I was just like, oh my God, like, this explains everything. And the doctor, it was funny, he was, there was like a list, and he was asking me all of these symptoms. He's like, do you experience blah, blah, blah? Do you experience blah, blah, blah? And then I was like, yes, 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 no, yes. And it like told literally all of them. And he was like, okay, well, to qualify as if it's like, you know, what I want to apply for or something, to qualify for this illness, you need 5 out of these 11 things, and you have 9 of them. And I was like, okay, that's great. Good to know. I'm really happy I got a diagnosis though. I'm finally on the proper medication that I need to be, and I feel so much better. It's been 2.5 weeks, I think, since I got discharged from the hospital, and I'm back to work and everything is better. I'm over the breakup and blah, blah, blah. Also, I was also diagnosed with a, the adjustment disorder is what they said it was called, but I know that that's kind of an outdated term. I think it's called like stress response syndrome or something like that now. I don't know. Don't trust me on that, but it's basically being unable to deal with, you know, big life changes, and not being able to cope, like, at all. Like, you're affected so much more than the average person. Like, something happens and it's just, you feel like there's nothing else, and that you can't, you know, not have this thing, which is kind of like explained everything, and like explained why I ended up in the hospital. I'm very happy that I had that experience though, and going to the hospital made me realize that, and makes me stress even more, that if you have access to healthcare and you feel, you know, depressed or suicidal or anything like that, like seeing someone is the best thing that you can do for that, because they'll get you on the medication that you need, and it really does make a difference. So many people are like, oh, medication doesn't help me, and I was the same, because I kept getting prescribed on the wrong medication. But once you have a doctor that cares, and, you know, people that, you know, that care, it makes so much bigger of like a difference. Like, it's crazy how much better I feel. And this is coming from someone who was like so depressed that I couldn't eat anything. Like, I was throwing up every single thing that I ate the week before I went to the hospital. Like, I hadn't eaten for like 3 days before I had gotten admitted to it. So over the span of this whole like event, I've lost like 20 pounds. Anyway, yeah, that's where I've been with my life the past little while. If you follow me on any of my other social media accounts, like, you'll definitely like know I've been talking about it like all the time. Like, I was Adri at hospital on like my Twitter account for the longest time. But yeah, so that is kind of a synopsis, I guess. I will try to post more updates in regards to my transition, now that, you know, things have settled down a little bit, especially in terms of my mental state and my emotions. So sorry for taking so long to update. I really appreciate you guys hanging around, even though I only have like 8 subscribers right now. But yeah, again, thank you so much. Hopefully I will do more updates in the future, and I promise I will. I promise. That's a promise to myself, because I said that I was going to document this transition, and I'm going to document it. So yeah, that's everything, I guess. So that, yeah.